I want Vietnamese food. But on a serious note, besides pho and banh mi, what else do you know about Vietnamese food culture? Exactly, because 80 or 90% of the world population knows about pho and banh mi, and I get that they're delicious, but we have about an ocean amount of food that's just equally as good and even more diverse than pho and banh mi. So today I just want to break the surface just a little bit. But that below pho and banh mi, there are just some really great staple food. Now I'm not trying to convince you to eat like fucking hoi vít lộn or something.
Brother,
like that is just like way below the ice, even for some Vietnamese. Today, I'm showing you 10 more amazing staple Vietnamese food that you should definitely try it. Ê, 10 đâu ra ông nội, mày quay có 5 cái, lấy đâu ra 10 à? 5 thôi. Oh, well, I didn't film that much. Oh, five we have. Okay, 5 amazing staple Vietnamese food that you need to try. Number 1, we got Bun Cha. Now this is probably one of my top 5 favorite dish of all time as well. It just probably just because they have a lot of meat in it. Now you serve with this bowl of meat submerged in fish sauce and another bowl of rice noodle. Not pho. It's bun. It's different. Yeah. There's 2 types of meat usually. One is a sliced pork belly and the other one is sort of kind of like a meatball situation. Both grill over charcoal, so you know they are extremely smoky. Fish sauce here is not really usually like a salty kind of fish sauce. It's a more like diluted version, worked more like a broth. What you want to do is you dunk some of the noodles from the other bowl into this luxurious mixture of fish sauce and meat. And obviously make sure you add some veggie into the platter of green that you get with every meal here in Vietnam. This dish really resembles Japanese sukemen, if you know what that is. Of course, besides the main Bun Cha, make sure to order the spring roll as well. At Bun Cha's place, spring roll is very important because like a good Bun Cha place also have to make good spring roll, because if their spring roll is ass, most likely their Bun Cha is also ass. And this place that we went to in District 3 was roughly about 60,000 for the regular version and 80,000 for the special. So overall, I'll give a value for money around like a 4 out of 5. For flavor, a 5 out of 5. On to number 2, we have Tieu Ca. So this is a hủ tiếu dish. Hủ tiếu is another rice noodle, but instead of just rice flour, it has, I think, mixed in with tapioca flour to give it that little bit of like a spongy kind of texture to it. And the reason I want to introduce this hủ tiếu dish specifically is because of fish. Right? The way we eat fish here in Vietnam is very different to how they eat here in Europe. Here is that they get served fillet fish on their plate. There will be no bone in it whatsoever. They just eat away. Meanwhile, if you eat fish back home, there's probably a bone in every motherfucker. But you have fucking cá thu, cá diu hồng, cá mú, cá lưỡi châu. And frankly, it scares foreigners just a little bit. Until now. Let me introduce you to hủ tiếu hùng chay. They specialize in hủ tiếu cá. They're thinly sliced like that, like those like Korean barbecue places that with those thinly rolled meat like look like that. And they come deboned, so you have to worry about getting bone. That sounds. So you have to worry about it getting stuck in your teeth or your throat. And I know the fish here look a bit unseasoned, so that's why we dip it in obviously some chili sauce or some hoisin sauce. And of course, every Asian country have their trademark special chili sauce. Here in Vietnam, we call it satay, and it's great. You know, mix them in with some the hoisin and dip the fish in that as well. This bowl comes to roughly about 70,000 Vietnamese dong. I often ask for another bowl of meat because it's a very common theme for a lot of noodle dish in Vietnam is that we lack a sufficient amount of protein in our food. We prioritize a bit too much on the carbs, not so much on the protein. So get an extra bowl of meat when you're out and about. Hủ tiếu cá can probably get a 4 in the flavor department and also a 4 in the value for money department. So another strong dish. Bravo. Number 3. Mi Sui Cao, the dry version. So thirdly, we have Mi Sui Cao, and this place is where me and my family used to get our breakfast. It's called Mi Sui Cao Lam Sơn. And specifically in this scenario, I'm talking about the dry version because that's what I usually get. I've seen a common theme of things having a side broth on the side and the noodle left dry.
But the difference with the previous mentioned dish is that you don't really dip the noodle into this. The broth is there is like a sort of like a separate entity, which and is acted like a palate cleanser, and it's also the place where you have the Sui Cao, or in Chinese term is the wonton. The second bowl is we have a nice amount of egg noodle, topped with some nice very char siu pork and some soft boiled egg, and finish off with some soy sauce underneath. Now on the surface, you might think that this might not have as much flavor as the other one, but I'll tell you that it's still a strong dish thanks to how well everything is executed here. Like, it's the simplicity of the dish, that the fact that it's not too heavy on your tummy, that makes it like the perfect breakfast item. If something like a bowl of pho is too heavy for you, like there's zero fat on the meat, the broth is very clean, it gives you a very refreshing start to your day rather than like a heavy start if you, I don't know, digest a giant bowl of pho. However, this place prices had gone up quite a bit since I last visited. I think it was 90,000 Vietnamese dong for like a small bowl, and there was not a lot in this. Like, you can clearly see that for 90,000. I have to take it down a little bit for value for money. I'll give like a 2.5 for value for money, and I'll still give it like 3.5 for flavor. Number 4, Bun Thit Nuong. Now this fourth item is a certified cheap eat because I don't think you can get any cheaper than this. This is my friend Yu, spelled D-U, not you. We found this place on a whim. It's called Bun Thit Nuong Nang Thơ. I think it's in Phú Nhuận district. And as I said, we found this place on a whim, but we will be definitely coming back here just because of how delicious and cheap it was. Like, Bun Thit Nuong is of course bún, topped with some char grilled meat and a set of spring roll on top, and you finish them off with some light fish sauce. Why does that sound familiar?
Hai món y chang nhau khác đéo gì đâu.
No. It's different. Shut the fuck up. Alright. Look, it's different, I promise. But similarity aside, this was one of the dishes that I had much back when I was in high school and when I was on a budget. Even as of today, that massive bowl of Bun Thit Nuong was 35,000 Vietnamese dong. Barely a euro. Which is crazy. Look how much food there are. Now, in terms of flavor, it doesn't always hit as hard. It's a staple, but compared to like a Bun Cha, I think this deserves like a 3.5 out of 5. But in terms of value for money, it's a 5 every day. I say the best for last. And here I want to officially advocate this food to be the new poster child of food that we recommend to foreigner. You ready? You ready? You ready?
Mày với tao quan tâm không?
Okay. Okay. Drum roll. Number 5, cơm tấm. Now the reason I say that this is to be the new food that we advocate to as the poster child is because of the fundamental in the way that foreigner eats in general. You know, in Western world, it isn't really common where at a dinner table, everyone sort of share in their meal. You know, sharing isn't really a common thing in their eating culture. Everyone will get their own individual portion in front of them in their own individual plate, and everyone's for themselves. Well, look no further in Cơm Tấm, and this is probably one of my family's favorite spot as well. It's called Cơm Tấm Tài Không Chi Nhánh.
The funny part, I'll go on a bit of tantrum here. The part that said Không Chi Nhánh is literally mean no other location. It's because how good this place is that they added that part in, and now it has become a staple of their name. That other people trying to rip them off, so they just add the part Không Chi Nhánh means no other location in. So now they are called Cơm Tấm Tài, no other location.
But back to the main part. Cơm Tấm is basically broken rice, which each individual grain is slightly broken and smaller than your average grain of rice. You just top it up with something like char grilled ribs. Yeah, I don't know what it's called, like a egg meatloaf. Kinda? I guess. Pork floss and a sunny side eggs. Those are the 4 main topping that you usually get. And you drizzle some fish sauce on top to complete the whole dish. I know, we love our fish sauce. And I think it's the most simple, yes, most delicious dish that you could have. I think I would recommend a foreigner to a delicious plate of cơm tấm with those succulent ribs combining with those aromatic egg meatloaf. Yeah, I'm not calling them egg meatloaf. Combine that with the texture of the pork floss over a bowl of pho any day. Like, seriously, who wants to eat a hot bowl of broth to sweat your ass off in 40 degrees weather? Like, didn't think so. Well, there you have it. 5 more great dishes that you can add to your arsenal next time you visit Vietnam and flex out to all your friends. That's just how more cultural you are. So, well, if you want to hear more from an unemployed Vietnamese kid living in Ireland, subscribe and you might win €10,000. See you next time.